Hi guys, it's Steffi from the Novelty Corner. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with my June book haul. I had to think about the month for a moment there. It's a bit scary that next month is July and that we are over the halfway mark of the year, but I did bring in actually quite a lot of books, but I've actually read the majority of them already, which is really awesome and was something that I've been trying to do. And even the ones that I haven't read yet, there are a few that I will be reading in the next week or so, so I don't feel quite so bad about what's come in. I'm going to start off with a couple of books that I received for free. I actually won them as a prize at the YA Rooms Introverts Night Out event earlier in the month. So I have actually spoken about these, but I'll talk about them again anyway. So I won a copy of Dry by Neil and Jared Schusterman. I haven't read this yet, but I am planning on reading it this weekend as I'm filming. So hopefully you will see a review of this either in a video before my haul goes up or in the week following it. So you'll hear about this one very soon. I also won a hardcover edition of Four Dead Queens by Astrid Scholt. I have read this. I have a paperback version of the ARC, but I did win a finished copy and it has the deckled edges and it's very, very beautiful. Next, I have a whole stack of books that were sent to me for review. From Allen and Unwin, I received 2 picture books. These ones were unsolicited, but I'm very grateful to have received them. The first is Goodbye House, Hello House by Margaret Wilde and Anne James. And this is about a little girl who is moving house and how she deals with saying goodbye to the old house and making the new house her own. And One Runaway Rabbit by David Metzenthen. And this one is about a pet bunny who escapes overnight and finds himself in some pretty tricky situations. They're both very gorgeous, adorable picture books. I'm very glad to have read them. These are both coming out on the 1st of July. I received a copy of All That Impossible Space by Anna Morgan, which is a Lover's Way mystery story from Hachette. And I received this because I'm a part of the OzYA bloggers book tour for this, so you'll be hearing about this one soon as well. And then from Bloomsbury, I received 3 unsolicited books, so thank you very much to them. I wasn't expecting it at all, and it was just a very pleasant surprise to get these books. The first one is Call It What You Want by Bridget Kemmerer. I read A Curse So Dark and Lonely earlier this year, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was my first experience reading Bridget Kemmerer's work, so I'm very eager to check this out. I believe this is a YA contemporary book, and this is out on July 1st as well. I also received a copy of The Wicker Light by Mary Watson, which is book 2. I think the first book was The Wren Hunt, and I haven't read that, but I bought it on my Kindle so I could read it before I read this one, and this is coming out on the 15th of July. I think this is another mystery type book. I also received a copy of Pan's Labyrinth, The Labyrinth of the Fawn, and this one is Guillermo del Toro and Cornelia Funk. Obviously, I think based off the film, but I haven't actually seen the film, so I'm very eager to read this and then I'll probably watch the film. It makes no difference which way I do it now, but I'm actually going to try and read this one first and then jump into the film. This one comes out on July 2nd and I'm interested. I would never have picked this up for myself, but I am always eager to actually just try new things and just give them a shot. The next 4 books I picked up for work, so I'm going to include them in my haul, but I'm not actually going to count them in any book haul revisited in the future because of the reason why I bought these books. I'm not 100% certain going to read them from start to finish all the way through, and you'll see why in a second. The first is a teaching reference book, and that is The Right Genre by Laurie Jameson Rogge and Paul Kropp. And this one came very highly recommended, both from a course that I did, but also from a colleague who went to a professional development session where this book was talked about as well. My copy finally arrived, and I've currently read the poetry section because next term my year level is doing a whole unit on poetry. I'm so excited about it, and that leads me into the next 3 books. These are all poetry anthologies that I collected for use in the classroom just to share with the kids, so they actually have exposure to a range of different types and not just my limited experience with poetry. So there's Poems to Live Your Life by, chosen and illustrated by Chris Riddell. I've had a flick through this and it's gorgeous. He's sorted them into different categories, and you've got things from Shakespeare and Robert Frost, Leonard Cohen, Nick Cave, Lewis Carroll, Neil Gaiman, all sorts of people. And it's beautiful, and I can't wait to share this with the kids and go through some of the poems with them. I also found The Proper Way to Greet a Hedgehog and Other How-To Poems. This one was edited by Paul B. Janesco, and I only found this morning. It's a beautiful hardcover picture book edition, and the poems have their own pages, and it's absolutely beautiful. The illustrations are just absolutely stunning and whimsical, and I think this one will be a nice one to have as well because it's very kid friendly. And then one that I didn't intend to buy, and I sort of ummed and ahed about whether or not I would actually buy this because it's quite a big book and was quite expensive, but it's beautiful, and I think I'm going to use it for the rest of the year. And it's called I Am the Seed That Grew the Tree, and it is a nature poem for every day of the year. It is huge, it is beautiful, it's heavy, but it goes through all the months with poems for every day of the year, all based around nature and plants and animals, and it's stunning. And I think we're going to do something, because I want the kids to actually practice reading poetry out loud, so I think we're going to do something where we have kids who are in charge of reading the poem for the day and just having that practice with fluency. And I'm happy with it because I think it's going to be great. So that leaves us with the books that I intentionally purchased, because why not? First up, we have Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I had 3 copies of this book. This is the hardcover edition from the US, which was a pre-order. It is also signed and personalized because I went through the virtual signing website. Because I ordered it from the States, I also got the Memento novella as well, which is part of the Illuminate files. So I've read both of these. I love them. They were great fun. I also picked up The Beholder by Anna Bright. This was from the Fairy Loot box from May, and this is a young adult fantasy story, which is the Odyssey meets the Selection, and I haven't read the Selection, but I have read the Odyssey. It was good fun. It was really quick and easy to read despite its size, and I enjoyed it, and I will probably read the sequel when it comes out. The next book in the Skullduggery Pleasant series by Derek Landy. This is Bedlam, and I have read this. It's still shelved in the middle grade section in the bookstore because the majority of the series is middle grade, but this book is probably more on the YA-ish end, or at least the lower end of YA. I really enjoyed this. It's book 12 in the series, so it's very hard to talk about, but I have reviewed it in my last 2 Books Beside My Bed videos, so you're welcome to check out those and hear my thoughts on it. I love this series. I love the characters. I love being back in the world. I will continue to read this every time Derek Landy brings out a book. Growing Up Muslim in Australia, edited by Amra Pajalik and Demet Divarowan. I apologize, I always mispronounce her name. This is a collection of 12 short stories from Muslims growing up in Australia, and it was just wonderful and heartbreaking to read at the same time, some of their experiences, but very well worth checking out. This is the second of the Growing Up in Australia books that I've read, and I very much enjoyed this one, and I'm going to be keeping an eye out for the others that I have yet to read. Sick Bay by Nova Wheatman is an Australian middle grade book, and this is about the friendship that develops between 2 girls who meet in their sick bay at school. One of them is a diabetic, and one of them is dealing with some really complex issues at home, and the 2 of them have an unlikely friendship through meeting in sick bay. It's about the ups and downs of friendship and trying to fit in, and especially when you're different. So I really highly recommend this. The Little Wave by Pip Harry. This one is an Australian middle grade verse novel, and I absolutely adored it. It is told from the perspective of 3 characters, and it is about a group of city school kids who are trying to help bring a group of country kids into the city so they can go and see the beach for the first time. And it covers all sorts of contemporary issues around family and around privilege and around mental health issues. So it is a really great book, very well worth checking out. Series Moonlight by Jen Bennett. I love Jen Bennett's books, and I've been waiting for this to come out in Australia so that I can buy it, and I have read it and very much enjoyed it. It's probably not my favorite of her books. I think that's probably still Starry Eyes, followed closely by Alex Approximately, but I did really enjoy this book. I know I can always reliably go to Jen Bennett for a good YA contemporary book. Storm and Fury by Jennifer L. Armitrout. I actually read an e-arc of this book, and then I decided to pick up a physical copy because I did really, really enjoy it, and I will hopefully be rereading it at some point so that I can annotate this version of it. I couldn't resist. And the last 2 books are ones that I have not yet read, mostly because I only picked them up in the last week. The first is The Brightsiders by Jen Wild. I absolutely loved Jen Wild's first book, Queen's Geek. I've been meaning to pick this up and to read it for ages, and I have not yet done it. So when I saw it at the bookstore today, I just decided, what the hell, I'm going to pick it up because I just find her story so enjoyable. Pretty sure it's about a girl who's in a band, but that's about the extent of my knowledge of the book, and I have actually not seen that many reviews of it, so I don't know all that much about it, but I'm looking forward to. And finally, I picked up Star Wars Alphabet Squadron by Alexander Freed, and I know next to nothing about this one, except apparently I did see someone totally randomly just clicking through on Goodreads that someone made a reference to the fact that basically the new Star Wars canon seems to be rewriting a lot of similar storylines to the Legacy. I think they're the Legacy books now. And someone's gone, oh, so this is like the new Rogue Squadron, which will make me really sad if that's exactly what it is. But at the same time, I love those books. So anything to do with pilots in the Star Wars universe, I'm all on board for. And I'm very much looking forward to this. So that was my June book haul. It was big, but considering how many books I've read, I am not at all unhappy with myself. I think this has been quite successful. In the comments, let me know if you have read any of these books or if you are planning on picking them up in the future. The ones that I have read will have Books Beside My Bed videos for them, so I will leave a link to the playlist down below so that you can check that out. I hope that wherever you're in the world, you're having a wonderful day, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.